What only exists because of people's stupidity? The warning on strollers. Do not collapse while infant is seated. You're telling me this thing's on a portable carriage? What is this? I want my money back. The labels on Superman costumes that say, wearing this does not enable you to fly. Yeah, no duh. I worked at Cabela's for years and they carry a product called the Butt Out, and it's a tool a hunter would use to remove the anus from a deer. On the back of the packaging in the bottom corner is a warning stating, not for sexual use. Warning labels telling you not to eat things that are not food. Do not place child in shopping bag. I feel like that one's pretty straightforward. The warning sticker on lawnmowers telling you not to touch the blades while they're in motion. Hello everybody, welcome back to Ask EmKay. My name is Mason. Let's get going. It's the year 2050 and the term okay millennial is trending. What are the reasons the young generation is using it? Some big catastrophic event happens? Meh, The Simpsons predicted it 40 years ago. Okay millennial. Back in my day, a townhouse cost $600K and a college degree only earned you $12 an hour. And everyone made fun of us saying that we were lazy and emotionally fragile, but it was the boomers' fault. Okay millennial. All that generation wants to do is marry their sex robots and it's disgusting. You're dead when your body dies, period. You're not real anymore. You're just some damn digital fantasy who thinks you're still that person. I remember the good old days when we used keyboard and mouse or a controller. Kids these days can't live a day without using their brainwave controllers. I wish I had a brainwave controller. That sounds sick. How did your high school crush turn out as an adult? Began acting. It's weird. Every so often I'll see a commercial or something and I'll be like, hey, I know them. My crush is an incredibly sweet person, so I'm glad. I remember walking up to her and asking if we could talk in private, and she said, you can say what you need in front of everyone. Her group of friends were all around. So I asked if she wanted to go on a date. She burst out laughing and said, no. It was rough, man. Looked her up last year and she's a cage fighter now. What? He's an attractive gay man. I am none of those things. I met her in 1987. We got married 5 years ago. We used to go to the same punk shows. That's where we met. Found her on Tinder. She said I was hot. Pointed out that I was that loser she used to know in high school. Had a big laugh. Been a little over a year and now we send each other memes and hang out occasionally when the pandemic isn't being a bitch. Teachers of Reddit, what is the smartest, most creative way of cheating that you've seen? In a lot of my college courses, I wasn't allowed to use anything higher than a TI-84, so I took the guts out of my TI-89 and swapped it into my TI-84. Never got caught. That's genuinely genius. My teacher shared with us a story about how, since she allowed eating during her test, one person pulled out a giant bag of M&Ms, ate a specific color corresponding to A, B, C, D. It was a two-student duo, and they only got caught when another student ratted them out. Snitch. In elementary or middle school, we had to write a paragraph each week featuring all of the vocabulary words included in that unit. One clever kid wrote something along the lines, one day, kid's name had to write a paragraph for English class. He sat down, picked up a pen, and used these words in it. Proceeds to list out all the words. The teacher only let it go once because she never saw that happen until then. One of my old teachers told us a story about a student who had rigged up tiny scroll of paper in a wristwatch with notes written on it. He turned the scroll by winding the watch. He ended up getting caught because he was winding his watch so damn much during the exam, but the teacher loved the creativity. If OP is a student crowdsourcing cheating strategies, then this is one of the most creative ways of cheating that I've ever seen. Aliens come to Earth. One of them asks, hey, you, do the thing. You know, the thing humans do. What is the thing? Take their nose. I got your nose, but the gray aliens don't have a nose. Sleep, fair enough. Put my phone in one hand, use the other hand to look for my phone. The hand trick that makes it look like I'm pulling my thumb off. Hey, you, do the thing. You know, thing humans do. Ah, aliens! Runs away screaming. Classic human. Nice try, alien infiltrator. You're not gonna get any intel from us. What is the single biggest move in all of history? Thomas Midgley invented Freon and putting lead into gasoline. He knew that putting lead into gasoline was a move, and he did it anyway for money. He knew because he got lead poisoning himself and still lied about its effects on people. I always thought the Fed putting Andrew Jackson on the $20 bill felt like a big you since he hated the idea of a centralized bank. Putting your fishing boats to the coast of every other country is because you already fished everything in your country's surrounding sea. Brutus pretending to be Caesar's best friend and then literally stabbing him in the back. France asking Haiti for a compensation after Haiti overthrew the colonial administration. It took 143 years for Haiti to pay off that debt. Those motherfuckers evolving to suck mammal blood, and now we gotta worry about mosquitoes, leeches, ticks, etc. Yeah, those things. Okay, this one looks fun. You've been granted one wish by the douchebag genie. He takes advantage of people's poor wording when making wishes to screw them over. What do you wish for? As it seems the genie is hell-bent at f***ing over any wish I use for personal gain. I would wish for the genie's freedoms and hopes he would be moved to do something genuinely nice for me after, or at the very least not f*** with me over the process. The ability and understanding to use and create magic, like him, with nothing I would consider a drawback. I wish for a turkey sandwich on rye bread with lettuce and mustard. And don't want any zombies zombie turkey. I don't want to turn into a turkey myself, and I don't want other weird surprises. You got it? I wish Douchebag Genie was my best friend, so we can laugh at his doucheness together. What is an important piece of advice you can give for those moving into the real world? If something is too good to be true, it probably is. People will try to take advantage of you, and you'll probably fall for it sometimes. It's how you learn. Don't be too down on yourself. Just learn from it and move on. There will be someone who will hate your guts for no particular reason. Even if you are friendly with them, or even more so, it will not be your fault. The real world is actually really small. Be careful with burning bridges, because you'd be surprised how easy it is to run into someone years and years after you last saw them. Never stop learning. Keep up with your old hobbies and interests and pick up new ones. Take classes, free ones, and pay for those you can afford. Join groups for peoples with your interests so you can learn from them and learn from teaching them. Don't just react to things. Think critically. Take a few seconds to analyze situations and come up with conclusions. Always be self-aware and never let people use your emotion against you. You are given a button that will make you very attractive, but every Friday you turn into the opposite gender for a whole day. Would you press it, and why? Is there a reason not to push it? That's what I'm saying. Am I still attractive on Friday, or do I become an opposite sex swamp creature? Is that supposed to be a negative? Sign me up. Awesome. Among other things, I can imagine meeting someone Thursday night, waking up Friday morning with them, or meeting them Friday night and waking up Saturday morning with them, or late night burglary and I wouldn't be identified. The options extend and on and on. If my wife was okay with it. Without saying the title, what's your favorite video game? Small and also large creatures get caught in round objects and used for fighting. A very Christian game where you were sent to deal with the beings that came from hell. Doom? Tiny dragon saves big dragons. Spyro? Drowning in a pool with no ladders. In its first iterations, that one's The Sims. One more turn. While freezing under my blanket after a 15-hour game session, I have no idea what this is. Like old Final Fantasy games? I don't know. You must construct additional pylons. Oh, I know this. StarCraft, got it. Oh my god, I'm so cool. This was a triumph. Lost me. Snake! Your fruit-killing skills are remarkable. What would 12-year-old you never believe about adult you? That I met a lot of my old childhood Minecraft heroes. That I never became the first man on Mars. That was always my plan. I guess technically it could still be the first. That all of the things I said I'd always remember and never do it as an adult, I've largely forgotten and probably do as an adult. We never got that growth spurt we were promised. That I still laugh at the exact same things. We never achieved that swan status. Still an ugly duckling. Hey, it happens. Join the club. For almost 9 years, I've worked literally 1 minute away from a huge water park and I've never gone there. That I have a kid taller than me. I'm not tall or anything. I just never pictured being shorter than my 13-year-old. That I'm almost 40 and still don't have a stable full of horses. Well, the night is young. Get going. What is the strangest thing that happened to you that you can't logically explain? I'm too young to remember this actually, but my mom always tells the story. Apparently when I was younger, like barely able to speak, I was sitting on the floor playing with some toys nonchalantly with my mom when I just said, when I was in heaven, I met a woman who said you'd be the perfect mommy for me. I don't believe that. You're lying. You're faking. No awards. Take the award away. A car going 50, 60 kilometers per hour hit both of my knees in 2008. It was 100% my fault. I wasn't paying attention when I crossed the road. Not only I didn't have any broken bone whatsoever, I didn't even fall. I did flinch quite a lot though. My knees and legs hurt for about 2 days, but I really can't explain how a car going relatively fast hit me only got me to have barely more than a couple bruises. When I was 10 years old, I didn't want to go to school one day. I faked a stomach ache so my grandmother would let me stay at home. I've always been a bad liar, so my G-Ma tried to call my bluff. She told me if I was too sick for school, then she would be scheduling me a doctor's appointment. 3 hours later, I was rushed into emergency surgery. My fake illness was actually appendicitis, and it was so inflamed that if I hadn't come in that day, my appendix would have ruptured, potentially killing me. I felt 100% fine that day. Faking sick saved my life. I was once changing pants in my room before work and took off my belt. After putting on my other pair of pants, I went to put my belt back on, but my belt was gone. No one else was in the room, and I spent a good 10 minutes looking for it, as I had simply set it on the floor. It's been 10 years and I've never seen that belt again. At friend's house. Friend was in garage working on dirt bike. Driveway empty because parents left a while ago. Go inside to grab a soda. Decided to look for his cat, who I haven't seen all day. I walk into the office and as I'm calling her name, a deep man's voice goes, meow, right into my right ear. I jump and run around the main floor looking for who said that. Didn't find anyone. I once shut my ear in a car door. No idea how. Have tried to recreate it and can't. But oh my god, that hurt. People who have stories they want to share, but have not found a question relevant to them. What are your stories? I was at the zoo one time when I was younger, camp trip, and I stopped by the gorilla enclosure. The gorillas, being gorillas, were ambling all over the place and hooting like crazy, but for some odd reason, when they saw my face, they were enchanted. I had 4 to 5 gorillas just staring at me and lounging around. They didn't seem territorial or anything. I ended up playing a game of peekaboo with one of them, and unfortunately, never got to see any of the other enclosures. It's a fond memory, that's for sure. Wife was on her first Zoom meeting last March in the kitchen. I asked if I could be off screen cooking breakfast quietly, and she said yes, as long as I'm quiet and not distracting. I wound up burning what I was cooking, causing lots of smoke. Then when I was trying my best to get the situation situation under control, my robe that I was wearing laid on the burner, electric stove, and started smoking. So basically my wife told me not to be distracting, and I wound up lighting myself on fire. To her credit, she maintained poise and completely ignored my situation. We still laugh about it a year later. I was in the middle of a contract once with a guy when blood started pouring out of his ear. He ran straight out the door without a word, and I was all kinds of worried for him. I'm so glad he turned back up later that week and explained that he just had surgery on that ear. When I was a child, I thought the term bust a nut was the same as break a sweat or to heavily exert yourself. I remember one day telling my old sister that I had busted a nut after cleaning the house, and the look of pure confusion and concern on her face. I didn't find out until years later what that actually meant. I'm a female, by the way. In a busy revolving door downtown, a guy stopped mid-cycle to pick something up off the floor. As he bent over, the glass partition in the revolving door immediately behind him whacked him hard in the butt. The guy made a big scene, yelling at the person behind him that he did it on purpose and that he was going to call his lawyer. What? You know what? Just to be safe, thing you did end up saving your ass later. Safety glasses. When working away, it's easy to talk yourself into doing something really quick without them, and then there was always a voice in your head yelling at them to put them on. Stopped grinding the thing I was working on, got my glasses, came back, and then this chunk flies up and cracks the right lens. I knock out my shoes and squeeze the toes for good measure. Hi, Mr. Brown Recluse. Only happened once, but once was good enough to convince me it was a good habit to have. Arrive in San Francisco a week into a trip. As we gather our things, a moment of downtime, I go back check bus, cause you know, it never hurts. Found my passport, which I had no idea I'd dropped. I had a car sitting on a jack stands because I needed to do some transmission work. Before climbing under it, I thought it'd be a good idea to rock the car around. One of the jack stands was not in the right spot and the car slipped off, slamming down on the front disc brakes. Would have killed me. Saved an email where a lead developer told me to do something stupid. A couple years later, him, now a manager who liked to yell at his subordinates, we were talking about the stupid behavior and he yelled, "Well, why did you do that?" I pulled up his email, clearly instructing me to do just that. He sputtered and walked off, speechless. Take 10 before you send has saved my countless times. That means take 10 seconds to reread your email, post, or whatever written communication before you send. Emails, especially in the workplace, last forever. How much time needs to pass before grave robbing turns into archaeology? If you're opening the grave to make money, you're a grave robber. If you're spending money to open it, you're an archaeologist. Like 20 minutes. Okay. I actually had to look this up once for reasons. It's 100 years, or when the deceased has no remaining living relatives, whichever comes first. It isn't time, it is intent. Grave robbing is to plunder the grave for valuables. Excavating an archaeological site is to learn. I usually just wait for the family to leave. Oh my god, you're a bastard. It's not a question of time, but rather a question of hats. What's the best euphemism for telling people that they're stupid? Easy now. Don't let your brains go to your head. In Russian, we have... do I want to do the... I'm not doing the accent. Intelligent thoughts have always followed him, but he was faster. My dad often refers to decisions being made unhindered by any knowledge of the facts. You could hide your own Easter eggs. He is a modest man with much to be modest about. I think I saw this one here previously. You aren't the biggest idiot in the world, but you better hope they don't die. What are some horrifying things to consider when thinking about aliens? Aliens could do to us what we did to wolves, selectively breeding a once noble species in grotesque ways, transforming us to the equivalent of bulldog, poodles, dachshunds, or even worse, pugs. That they could have been here the entire time, playing Farmville with us. Would be scary to imagine a starved, desperate race of beings that are trying to keep the world alive by any means necessary. Possibility of them already knowing about us, but us not knowing about them. We have no idea if they know. They could be committing space espionage right now, and we wouldn't know about it. It's possible that they are fat single-cell organisms just loafing around. For all we know, aliens might not be the little green men that fly around in flying saucers and destroy us with laser beams. They could be an interstellar pathogen that show up one day and silently and effortlessly kill all of us without warning. Our immune system would have no idea what hit them. I have never thought about it that way. Oh my god. What is the greatest design f*** up of the human body? Why do ears have to pick up so much wind noise when you're running? Could be improved. Body needs water. Me drinks water. Body pees. More water or you die. Anaphylaxis. Your body will choke itself to death in an attempt to protect itself. The brain knowing it's doing something wrong, but still pushing itself to do it for some dopamine. Fingernails are too damn fragile. Ripped off my goddamn fingernail last week. Not fun. Dunno, but I wish my tongue could clean my teeth like a toothbrush does. Aliens taking notes from this post so they know our weaknesses.
What are you boycotting till the day you die? For me, it's Chick-fil-A. Take a guess as to why. Nestle. I may inadvertently grab one of its products, but when I see the name, I always put it back. Anything that even has a hint of MLM. Stop exploiting your personal relationships out of greed. Edit. MLM stands for multi-level marketing pyramid schemes. I know that you definitely read that as men loving men, but it isn't. Harvey Norman. They have terrible customer service, and they took a whole lot of Australian government money that they didn't deserve and are refusing to give it back. Capitalism. So fair and fun. I was boycotting Blockbuster for charging me late fees because they lost the tape I returned in their evening return slot. Those guys, they aren't getting my business. Well, I think I figured out why Blockbuster went out of business. Bank of America me over for $10 back in 1993 on a mistake they made, never getting my MFing business again. What is the worst thing you've overheard while pretending to be asleep? Freshman college roommate watching on his laptop wearing headphones, humping his mattress like there's no tomorrow. That I was dying with meningitis, but jokes on the doctors, I'm still kicking. My grandparents won $10,000 at the casino, and they told all of their children, and presumably gave them some of the money, except my dad. My dad is a dick, so I didn't tell him either. My friends talking about going into my wallet later and stealing my money, and then leaving before I notice. I kicked them out. Not me, but my wife heard her boyfriend having sex with her best friend. This was obviously long before we met. What is a totally wrong thing that has become so widespread it's not considered wrong anymore? Putting your children's lives, including their faces and real names and evidence of their schools, lifestyles, friends, and common play locations on the internet. Journalists using the word slam instead of the word criticize. It does not leave a lot of room for discourse and makes the article sound like it was written by a 5th grader. Politicians openly lying with no consequence. I don't know how we got to this point, but here we are. Child beauty pageants. Why do people care so much about how attractive a 10-year-old looks? That's super creepy in my books. Yeah, it's creepy overall. Like, I don't know where... Conservatives are weird. Making terms and conditions overcomplicated and long. I mean, do we really know if they're that complicated? Has anybody read one? What's a little thing you do to make the world a better place? I'm shy, so I find it hard to say in person when I received good or great customer service, so I like to email the company directly and let them know. I always try to remember the person's name and to be specific so that it might make it back to the employee, or they might win an Employee of the Month award. Pick up trash. This one's simple. Everybody should be doing it. If you see trash on the floor outside, pick it up. I used to leave my parking permit on the permit machines if I had an early day at community college, so someone else didn't have to pay. Turns out it started a trend and people still do it. I can't take the full credit though. I think someone accidentally bought 2 and didn't realize it, so they left it at the machine. Cut all 6-pack rings. You don't want the seagulls and the turtles to choke, do you? Cut those rings. When someone gets cut off repeatedly in conversation, I make an effort to make eye contact with them and say, go ahead, I'm listening, or something along those lines. And us introverts, thank you, Groovy Jack Rackham. What is a lesson you learn too late in life? Not everyone is down for you like they say they are. You have to take chances sometimes, and although it can be scary and outside your comfort zone, you'll never know what could have been unless you go for it. You can be the best driver on the road, but you can't control everyone else. Always keep your head up and drive safe. Never trust your boss or coworkers to not stab you in the back for their benefit. Smoking isn't worth it. I'm kinda shocked that people still smoke cigarettes today. Driver's license testers. What's the worst thing a kid has done without batting an eye while taking the driving test? Answered his phone. Like, my man, it's the one time you don't need your phone. My driver's ed teacher said that one kid reclined his seat all the way back, put one foot on the gas and the other on the brake, and grabbed the top of the wheel with one hand and said, let's go. My best friend's son just failed because he went the wrong way down a busy 4-lane road. Luckily, they made it safely into a parking lot and the testing administrator drove them back. I'm not a tester, but I asked my tester during my full license test what was the worst thing someone had done. Apparently, there was an older gentleman who drove through 3 stop signs before the tester told him to pull over. The gentleman explained that he didn't want the license, but his family was pressuring him, so ran the signs on purpose to fail. Made sure no cars were coming first. I guess that's a interesting way of doing it. I went forward instead of in reverse when the tester was standing in front of me on the curb. I failed. What is the single worst movie you sat through hoping it would get better, but didn't? After Earth with Will and Jaden Smith. It was the double combo of being bad, but getting the sense that they thought it would be groundbreaking. 365 Days. It got worse. The new Doolittle movie with Robert Downey Jr. The climax of the movie is him pulling a bagpipe out of a dragon's I was just sat there like, who approved this to be made? Mean Girls 2. Thought it was gonna be like the first one, ended up with the Walmart version. I didn't even know they made a second one. Why? Y'all ever seen Slender Man? Absolute show. As soon as the credits were rolling in the theater, a guy in the back yelled, well, that was The Dark Tower. The only reason I didn't leave was cause I was in southern Florida for a trip and went to the movies to get out of the heat for a while. The movie AC was the only good thing I found with that movie. Well, here's your first mistake. You went to Florida. What are some deeply unsettling facts that you know? I'm not excited for this question. Within 3 days of death, the enzymes from your digestive system begin to digest your body. What is that, self-vor? Sorry, shout out to the furries out there. If a hamster manages to get its hands on your body if you are dead, it will use chunks of your skin, hair, and other stuff to make a nest, leaving a very bloody and messy scene behind. All whales eventually lose the energy to surface for oxygen, so they basically just sink and drown. Paradoxical undressing. It happens during the last stages of hypothermia. As your nerves are damaged, the person removes all of their clothes in freezing temperatures because they feel irrationally hot. Tumors can grow teeth. So you mean to tell me some people have teeth in their brain? I'm sorry, that might be mean. Veteran criminals in the gulags would recruit naive prisoners for their escape attempts called cows for the sole purpose of eating them when they ran out of food in the Siberian wilderness. What is the worst advice you can give a virgin for their first time? Alright, now I want everyone to take close notes on this one. Poking holes in condoms will give you some breathing room. Don't do this. Leaving the TV on, set it to something interesting and pay attention to it during sex. Make sure to bite the balls. Little known fact, men actually really like it if you just chomp down on them. At the end of sex, you have to give your partner $200 and say thanks. Foreplay, more like bore play. Don't even bother. When you want the girl to just scream directly into the vagina. You see, now that one actually works. Go ask your mom. What was your best purchase this year? Washing machine around the start of the pandemic. We used to haul the clothes to a laundromat and fold them there. A Roomba. After having 3 spinal surgeries a few years ago, hoovering has been the worst. This bad boy has helped me more than you'll ever know. Squat rack. Took a long time to get everything set up, but it was worth the wait. Is that like a weightlifting thing? I wouldn't know. I'm a chubby boy. A Kindle. I don't read much, but I'm slowly starting to read more and more. A second monitor for my laptop. As a college student doing remote classes, it's truly been a game changer, and I got a great deal on it. Bought some pants a week or 2 ago. I've had only 2 pairs for quite a while, and it will feel nice to have some more. What is something that is considered kindness, but is just basic human decency? Bringing things to lost and found at events. Now these people are the real heroes. Just being polite to people in general. I've worked in the service industry and the education system, and it never ceases to amaze me how rude people can be. Picking up their rubbish in public and putting it in the bin. See, this kind of connects to a question earlier. Pick up trash when you see it. Letting people choose if they wish to disclose certain information to others or not, and respecting their decision either way. Being patient with people. I'm not very good at it, but I'm trying because in my mind that's how to human 101. Do your goddamn job so other people don't have to do their job plus yours. What did you think you were really good at until you saw someone who was actually really good at it? I began piano lessons at an early age, 5, and my parents and my teacher made me believe I was some kind of fabulous child prodigy. I later found out I was merely a worm compared to real pianists, but I did enjoy playing the piano, so there's that. At one point, I thought I was pretty savvy in Excel since I was the best at it out of the people I knew. Well, then I met someone who really knew how to use Excel and realized that I really only knew the basics. 8-ball and 9-ball. I had a table at home and would practice while watching TV. No one could beat me. In college, I'd play $1 a ball. Everyone owed me money. Then I played someone that regularly entered tournaments. I was lucky if I got to shoot because he was running the table every game. I've come to the realization that I'm very mediocre at a lot of things. I can do most anything, just not well. Jack of all trades, master of none. Driving. Everyone thinks they're a good driver. Sit along with a professional driver as they go through a course and then try to do the same. So humbling. I thought I was pretty good at Tetris. People who saw me play were quite impressed. Then I started playing Tetris 99. Turns out I'm not that good. What fictional character do you feel bad for the most? I always felt bad for poor old Edward Scissorhands. His pop died before giving him real hands. Sirius Black. It is truly tragic what happened to that man. Thomas from the Maze Runner series of novels. That kid is put through a ridiculous ridiculous amount of emotional and physical trauma only to have everything he's ever done be destroyed by himself. Butters. This poor kid is always manipulated by his friends and grounded for everything. Will from Stranger Things. His childhood is ruined by traumatic events, and when he finally comes back, his friends are too busy being in love to care. That one lady who gets picked up by the pterodactyls in Jurassic World and then almost drowns before getting picked up again only to be eaten by a Mosasaurus. I didn't say that right. All she did was say her fiance couldn't have a bachelor party. John Coffey from The Green Mile. I haven't seen The Green Mile in a long time, so I'm not going to comment on that one. Whoa! What is something in your life that is super f***ing awesome? I can say for sure if you're a Lego man, everything is. Paid off my student loans yesterday. No need to rub it in. No, I'm kidding. Congratulations. My 8-pound dog got hit by a car last night. Oh my god. But he came out with only a cracked rib and a broken tooth. He's a badass. Well, I'm glad the little pooch is okay. Sometimes I drive to work in my boat. Edit. As my username suggests, I am a marine systems tech and am lucky enough to live on the same river as my marina job. I just choked on my water and didn't die. Yeah! I found $1 in my jacket. Nice! Now give it to me. Yesterday, the CEO of the company I work for pledged to donate $4,000 I need for a surgery to save my eye. Well, I guess there are some nice businessmen out there. I finally have a stable job. Congratulations, that's a tough one now. My little brother and my older brother. Aw, that's sweet. Doctors and nurses of Reddit. What have been your "why didn't you come in sooner" moments? Former medic here called to a patient who had cut their leg while chopping wood about a week prior and now it was really itchy. Old gentleman, didn't drive, lived alone. Got to his house, unwrapped the ungodly swollen leg to find that he'd tried to super glue the wound closed and maggots had commenced to grow inside. The itching he was feeling was the writhing maggots under his skin. Sorry, that's disgusting. This happens all the time. People have a big stroke at home and can't move an entire side of the body. They wait several days thinking it's a flu or something. Nope, not the flu. Just a large clot in the brain that could have been reversed if you came in right away. We once had a patient who went to emergency for abdominal pain and they discovered a fungating breast wound, don't image search that she'd had for 2 years and hadn't gotten medical attention for. A biopsy and a PET scan later, she was diagnosed with breast cancer with extensive liver, lung, and bone mets. This was also in Australia, so it wasn't a money issue, just sad. A colleague of mine removed a diabetic patient's sock and their toes came off inside it. Oh no, that's so bad. Maggots. Whenever it's gotten to the point of maggots, it's like 100 alarm bells that this person's living situation is no bueno.
How are you today? I'm happy. Went on a weekend trip with my grandma to a place I've never been before and it's quite nice here. Starts crying uncontrollably. Joins you in crying. Buddy. Oh, I'm fine. They ask you how you are and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it. Pissed. As IKEA's given us a faulty product for the 3rd time in a row. Same as yesterday. In a couple hours, I should have groceries. Loaded, menstruating, living my best life clearly. What's a fun fact that nobody asked for? Chimpanzees have been discovered hunting gorillas with spears. Ape not kill ape. Ape together strong. Dr. Seuss invented the word nerd. Shut up, nerd. Netflix has trouble recommending you titles after viewing Napoleon Dynamite. You will never be stung by a male hornet. They are very docile and don't even have stingers, since that really is an ovipositor. Same for getting bitten by mosquitoes. Only females drink blood from humans. Males are exclusively nectar feeders. Chainsaws were originally made for assisting in difficult childbirth, breech, etc. That is not a fun fact at all. Michael Jackson owned the original pair of scissor hands from the movie, Edward Scissorhands. The little piggy that went to market was not shopping. Your immune system doesn't know your eyes exist. They have their own immune system. If your body's immune system ever learned about your eyes, it would view them as a foreign invader, and your white blood cells would melt them straight out of your eye sockets. I see. For now. Of all the weird myths out there, Bigfoot, Atlantis, psychic ability, etc., what seems the most plausible and why? Her liking me back? I gotta go with aliens, honestly. However, I don't think it's little green guys. I think they're just gonna be some sort of single-celled organism, something super adaptable and durable, but also efficient. There's probably a whole variety of aliens, seeing how fast the universe is. Space crabs, perhaps? Round Earth seems possible, I guess. LOL, what a nut job, /S. Round Earth, dumb. G/S. Globe heads, am I right? Hot dog and bun manufacturers are colluding to get you to buy more stuff by selling them in packs of 8 and 6 respectively. I think mermaids, not in Little Mermaid sense, but something more frightening. There's so much of the ocean that we haven't explored. Who knows what creatures are actually real? Unidentified swimming objects is one of my favorite rabbit holes. Like, I will not go out there and find them, but please go do it for me. I like to think I'm a rational person, but I really feel like there are people out there with certain extrasensory psychic abilities. None of them are the ones on TV telling you about it or charging for it, though. I've read those stories about young children who will offhand mention talking to unseen people, often giving details they'd have no way of knowing. It's possible this has some ability that the underdeveloped brain has, which it loses at some stage in development. Bigfoot would just be another kind of ape. Those are real. We didn't always know about chimpanzees. Collective unconscious. In your humble opinion, what TV series has the catchiest theme song? DuckTales is one of them. Sesame Street is up there, but I don't think anyone is gonna beat DuckTales. Okay, why is no one saying Scooby-Doo? That's so true. What's New Scooby-Doo had the best soundtrack. OG Pokemon. Yeah. A lot of the Pokemon themes are good. The original one is not that great. Like, you know, the one everybody knows. No, gotta catch 'em, Mom. It's not that great. It's like A tier, but like low A tier. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I may not know what I went into a room for, but I can still recite the theme song word for word all these years later. Keep my show's name out your motherfucking mouth. The Simpsons. The Addams Family. With Lurch at the harpsichord and the cast snapping their fingers in time to the music with memorable lyrics. What has great taste, but horrible aftertaste? Stevia. Protein shakes. Damn. 3 weeks into drinking chocolate whey protein mixed with water, and I already want to throw up just by opening the bag. That smell even lingers on plastic after I wash it. I persist because otherwise I wouldn't get enough protein in a day, but goddamn is it horrible. Cigarettes once you have become addicted. When I quit, I made a list of things I liked about them and things I did not like. I quickly realized every single thing I liked, taste, smell, feeling, all turned into things I disliked as soon as the cigarette was put out. Clothes smell like horrible ashtray taste in mouth, sick dizzy feeling. It sounds like post-nut clarity. Diet Coke. When you take a sip, it's just a little bit off regular Coke. 2 seconds after the sip, it leaves a horrible aftertaste. Eventually, your tongue dies and it's fine. Love. Who hurt you, bro? Candles. I don't think you're supposed to... whatever. Garlic isn't the prettiest thing to burp up. What's your strangest experience that made you want to believe in the paranormal? Maybe not so paranormal, but one time I was walking to school early morning and I blinked and was somehow across the street, on the other side, a good 5 meters more forward. I still have no explanation for this till this day. When the lag hits, I was in the kitchen doing homework with my little sister and we just casually looked up to see a girl walk into my room. Without saying anything, we both looked at each other and then got up and ran to my big sister's room and started banging on her door. We hit the door so hard that it just kind of fell off its hinges. Then my mom came out screaming at us for breaking the door and we were both trying to explain what we just saw, but they were too mad to hear us out. We've had a few more instances in that house, but that's the one that scared me the most, because unlike those other times, I wasn't alone. This is a wholesome one, so don't worry. Quite a while after my grandpa passed away, I was sitting in his chair, the same chair he passed away in, and I began smelling him. I began crying because I could just feel his presence, and seconds after I began crying, I feel warm, like someone hugging me. Then it just stopped. I used to work overnights at 7-Eleven and had some tea bags laying out, so I put them back in the box. I returned a few minutes later and found them in another box. No one had came in. It wasn't anything remarkably creepy, but it did weird me out. My coworker a few days later told me of our regulars had passed, and they like to get the tea at 7-Eleven. I was at school moving between classes. It's a cloudy day and it's been drizzling for a while. As I exit into a courtyard, the fucking sky opens up and I sprint to the next building while trying to protect my bags. I was an imaginative Star Wars fan, and at the time I thought to myself, this run would be way more efficient if I could just force pull the door open. So without thinking, I put my hand out and the door swung open right in time for me to run through it. Even as a kid, I knew it was the wind, but I wanted to believe I had powers so badly. Ask God for a sign. Triple rainbows in the sky. Never seen that in my life. Didn't work out for me though, so probably just a coincidence. One morning, I lost the cap to my toothpaste, then 3 days later, I found it on the cheese shelf in my refrigerator. Crazy, I know. It's because it's so crazy that I believe you. What is the best gift to give a kid if you want to piss off the parents? Anything that makes a lot of noise, especially a drum set if they're old enough for it. If they're not old enough, anything with flashing lights and a siren. Glitter. A kazoo, especially if it's in a small bag with various candies. A recorder is also pretty effective. I recently learned that a bag of 250 bouncy balls can be purchased online for less than $20. Naturally, I donated 250 bouncy balls to my friend's children. Parents weren't as happy as the children. I just instantly remember poor mom cooking dinner when a bouncy ball hits her right on the cheek. My brother got my kids this cordless adult karaoke microphone. That thing is loud as hell, and I want to punch my brother in the face every time I see him over. He gave it to them 2 years ago. A pet. Some fucker bought my 2-year-old a drum set for his birthday. What song are you currently obsessed with? Ooh, that's a really good question. Hold on. I love music questions. So the Lumineers are a really good band. Highly recommend. And then Ophelia is my favorite song from them. On Melancholy Hill by the Gorillaz. Can't Stop by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. It's been about 10 years of just daily listening to it. Dancing in the Moonlight, something about it. That's such a good song. Crack Rock by Frank Ocean. OMG, I still 10 years later sing the chorus randomly. What the do you mean 10 years later? Check's release date, FML. May It Be by Enya from the Lord of the Rings soundtrack. Beautifully haunting and hauntingly beautiful. Nice try, Vecna. Down Under by Men at Work. I love that opening riff on the pan flute. Which song could you base an entire movie on? Ooh, it's a great question. Think about that. I don't know. Hotel California by the Eagles. Oh yeah, absolutely. Stand by Eminem. Yeah, sure. Jolene. Hey there, Delilah. What's it like in New York City? American Pie. Didn't they do that? Thriller? A whole movie? I don't think about that. I don't know about that. Never Gonna Give You Up? Also, I don't think you can base a whole movie off that song. Each finger chopped off is 300K in your pocket. How far do you go? None. I like having 10 fingers. Easy as 600K of my life. Same, I could lose 2 easy. Lol. Pinkies are unnecessary. They are most essential as they provide strength. Okay, but do they have to be my fingers? Right? Unlimited source of income out there. Who's got 2.4 million bucks in 2 thumbs? This guy. Who's got 3 million bucks and no fingers? Are you fucking kidding me? Take all fucking 10. I'm buying some sweet ass robo fingers. Robo thumbs still kind of suck because of how complex a real thumb is. That's a good point. I'd probably keep the thumbs. 2.4 million is still a lot. It'd all go to the hospital bill. Plot twist, out-of-pocket medical costs for each finger cut off is 600K. Can I get it reattached? With that money, you'd probably be able to. Still wouldn't do it, lol. What's something you can put on almost any dish and it will be good? MSG, cheese, but like a light cheese, like maybe a Monterey. Salt, if we're gonna go with basic stuff, okay, salt, lemon, I know that this is something that most won't agree with, but TBH, vinegar. If you use it in the right way, you can incorporate it in a lot of dishes. Yep, very useful to enhance tartness in desserts. Sriracha, I put that on everything. That's true, I love sriracha, it's so good. I don't think dishes taste good no matter what you put on them. It's a texture thing, really. The ceramic ones are too hard to chew, and the plastic ones are strange to chew. The paper ones are okay if you put enough sauce on them, but at that point, you're just really tasting the sauce and not the thing you're putting the sauce on. Butter on cereal? Blech. Probably better than sriracha on cereal. Mascarpone cheese. Or is it mascarpone? I don't know. I just work here. Which singer has your favorite voice? Freddie Mercury. I can't hear a live performance of his and not be emotionally moved. Whitney Houston. Bowie. Ray Charles. Kali Uchis. Her voice is so soothing. I think Bjork would be a close second though. Donald Glover. Guys, I think Donald Glover should collab with Childish Gambino. I think they would rock the house. Honestly, I think it'd be great. Phil Collins. I don't even have to think twice about this. Ella Fitzgerald. No one else comes close. What do you think of astrology? Well, my friend Lena loves astrology, so if I say anything bad about it, I'd be bad-mouthing her, and I love bad-mouthing her, so I hate astrology. You've got to be a special kind of gullible to fall for that. Lol, that's such a Scorpio thing to say. Joke's on you, I'm an Ophiuchus. I'm a zucchini, I'm pretty sure we're compatible. I don't believe in it, but I can see why people find it fun. Space racism. I'll tell you what I think of it for $24.99. Call me now. My feeling on it changes depending if Mercury is in retrograde. I don't think planets and stars whirling around in the space have any impact on my life and the personality of people around me. Saying that, I don't judge anyone who enjoys astrology or finds joy in or happiness in giving their fate up to where Mars is. That's cool and good for them for their happiness. Just about as real as my girlfriend. Same, man. You have just woke up from a coma and found out it is 2050. What will your first question be? What's this costing me? I don't have health insurance. Is The Simpsons still on? Why didn't you just pull the plug? Billing is by the hour. They at least named a wing of the hospital after you. Where is my dog? Your dog is dead. I hate to say it, but your dog is not 28 years old if you got it in 2022. Your dog is dead. Am I in Futurama? GTA 6? How the fuck is humanity still alive? Are abortions legal yet? What's your best yo mama joke ever? Yo mama's so forgetful, she what? Yo mama's so ugly. Voldemort calls her she who must not be naked. I really don't like yo mama jokes, but I heard one in 5th grade that has just stuck with me. Yo mama's so fat, she uses a mattress as a tampon. Yo mama's so old, her birth certificate says expired. Yo mama's so ugly, the whole world faked a pandemic, so she would wear a mask. Why do I need a yo mama joke when she already is one? Yo mama's so nice, she gave me cookies. Oh, the good ending. Thanks, don't my Vaporeon. What is your favorite word? What is my favorite word? What word do I say a lot? Balls? I say balls a lot. Yeah, let's go with balls. I love balls. Covfefe. What's that? Smile. Excellent question. Nebula. Microsoft Word 2007. Discombobulated. Schedule. Are you schedule or schedule kind of person? I'm a schedule kind of person because that's how you pronounce it. Lovely. It's a beautiful word that can be used both sincerely and sarcastically. Octopus. I wish I had more occasion to use it, but rarely do have discussions about cephalopods. Great word and pretty great organisms also. Redundant is a fun word. I don't know why, but it is. I don't know about favorite though. Yeet. What's a poverty meal you would eat even if you were wealthy? Red beans and rice. Always yummy. Craft dinner with tuna. Ew. Fucking gross. I hate tuna. Instant ramen with cheap dumplings will always be fire. Hell yeah. Ramen is so versatile, bruh. Pasta. It doesn't even have to have anything on it. Just give me some spaghetti and I'll be happy. Spaghetti with butter and salt. Beans on toast. British detected. British detected. Get the British out of here. The butter sandwich. Have you ever tried toasting the bread before buttering it? Game changer. Takeaway pizza. Rice, soy sauce, and a fried egg on top. You can put sesame seeds on top if you're a millionaire. Great breakfast for and cheap as hell. Anything potato. What don't they want us to know? That everyone is in on it except you. I knew it! Who they are. How much of your current pollution problems are due to not individual people but to big corporations? It's a lot of it. It's a lot of it. The whole plastic straw thing is just a slew of corporate BS. Where the G spot is. Ain't nothing but a G thing, baby. Girls aren't real. Droids in it. It's why they sit down to pee. Quick charging. What's for dinner? The truth. That the birds work for the bourgeoisie. That you just lost the game. Who's the most overrated actor? Leonardo DiCaprio. He's also weird. Jared Leto. He tries too hard. I found Jared Leto to be kind of weird. Angelina Jolie. I don't get the hype. That's an easy one. The Rock. Not only overrated, but not that good either. Turbojet 396. You suck. Tom Holland. Girls like his Spider-Man because he's so hot. He's not even a good actor. We all know Tobey Maguire was the best Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire was the worst Spider-Man. I will die on that hill. Tobey Maguire was too old for the role. He's made weird faces, and he was just not good. He was the worst Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield was better. Tom Holland, in my opinion, is the best Spider-Man. Tom Cruise. That's true. I hate Tom Cruise. Chris Pratt. Yeah, true. He killed the Jurassic Park / World Series for me. The whole, I'm gonna hold out my hand to stop a dinosaur is so stupid. Bryan Cranston? JK, it's Johnny Depp. JK, it's Nick Cage. Adam Sandler. Dude and his actor friends are not funny. I don't get it. What is a common everyday item you hate with an irrational fury? The alarm clock. I don't think that's irrational. Microsoft Teams. A phone when it's used to blast music on public transport. Avocados. Based fellow avocado hater. You are the worst. Just delete your account. Babies and toddlers. Based. Don't mistake me. I don't begrudge you for having kids. You'll enjoy your little gremlin all you like. You just keep it away from me. I don't find them cute or funny or exciting. They're loud, they're stinky, they tend to look like sun-dried meat when they're newborns, and balding drunkards after a few months. Keep your crotch spawn away from me, please. For me, it's car horns. Velcro. The sound gives me the urge to kill. Plastic wrap. Gen Z Redditors, what's nostalgic for you? Ninjago Lego sets, but the very first ones. GameCube, PS2, Pokemon, Silly Bands, Bakugan, the toys, not the show, and Tech Decks. The show wasn't that bad, alright? Bakugan's show was good, alright? Let's get that straight. Wake Me Up by Avicii. Rest in peace. Flash games, especially ones on coolmathgames.com. 3DS. 3DS? My brother in Christ. The 3DS is 11 years old. That's not... whatever. Mario and Luigi Dream Team. Just play the intro theme and I'm stunned. Disney Channel airing every morning stuff like That's So Raven, Austin and Ally, Mighty Med, and Lab Rats. Those stuff just hit different. When the world wasn't going to end in the next 5 years because of climate change. What's your let that sink in fact? About half of the population are below average intelligence, and half is above. I guess we should be reassured now. That doesn't make sense, as it would change the definition of average. Right now, no matter where you are on Earth, no matter what you're doing, you are moving at 67,000 miles per hour through space. Related, no one in the history of humanity has ever observed something that is not moving. If an absolute zero motion reference point exists, we haven't found it yet. People were still hunting mammoths in Siberia when the pyramids were built. If an atom was the size of a period at the end of a sentence, a frog would be the size of planet Earth. You are older than ever before. Bats account for 20% of all mammal species worldwide. This percentage is increasing as well. That's crazy because I have yet to see a live bat my entire life. Not number of animals, number of species. Bats are just much more diverse than other types of animals. I, for one, welcome our new bat overlords. Time doesn't move, things move through it. This doesn't mean anything. The amount of people older than you never increases. What's the most unimaginable pain you've ever felt? Q-tip up the urethra because my wife had a false positive for chlamydia, and I've been in 2 motorcycle accidents. It doesn't even bear thinking about. Next week is 18th anniversary of when I was struck by lightning. Imagine 1,000 knives made of flaming salt being driven into every nerve you have. No fissure. Don't sit on the toilet too long, folks. Not worth it. Being left unread. Do you need to talk? I sniff your farts. Not my experience, but one from a strange friend I have. He's been struck by lightning twice in a day, dislocated his shoulder, tore his Achilles, broke multiple bones, been shot at multiple times and hit once in the arm, been stranded at sea for weeks, starving and dehydrated. But the worst pain he said he's experienced was as a child. He was having a hard time urinating one day, so the stupid doctors in a village in a third world country decided a circumcision was necessary. Except they did this by tying the kid down with ropes and did the procedure without any kind of anesthesia. Maybe that's why no matter what happens in his life, he finds a way to grit his teeth and smile. My cousin jumped up and down on my chest for fun while I was laying on a brick floor. Oh, I was hungry one night and ate a huge bag of almonds in one sitting. Within hours, I noticed that my stomach started cramping really badly. I couldn't go to the bathroom every minute. I felt pain that got sharper and sharper. It would then subside and repeat itself for what felt like an eternity. I'd never been stabbed before, but this is what I imagine it would feel like. Pain must have knocked me out because I eventually woke up in the morning and I felt better. What would you say to an alien right in front of you? F off. This place is screwed enough. Howdy. Please take me with you. I bet your planet is much better than this one. You don't want to be here. You got room in your ship for one more? You better be here to help. Please stop looking at me like that. It hurts my feelings. Can you give me any drawing tips? Non-Texans. Hey, that's me. What are your thoughts when you hear Texas? Literally just the shape of the state itself is seen from a map or something. In my native Norwegian, the term complete Texas means chaos or out of control. Cadillacs with giant horns on the front driven by old men in white suits and big white cowboy hats and superbly trimmed mustaches. My name is Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome. That boy ain't right, I tell you what. All hat and no cattle. Kmart Cowboys. If Saudi Arabia was Christian, I think of Gilead, but without the cowboy hats. What is the saddest TV show death of all time? Spoilers for anything. Mr. Hooper from Sesame Street. I was in pre-K. Fry's dog in Futurama. Hank in Breaking Bad. Opie in Sons of Anarchy. Fry's dog, that one is tough. Ben from Scrubs. Andrea in Breaking Bad because of Jesse's reaction. Jesse went through so much. Bobby Singer in Supernatural, that was brutal. Marshall's dad in How I Met Your Mother. The line, "My dad's dead? I'm not ready for this," was actually improvised. Incredibly strong acting and very recognizable if you've actually lost your dad, as I did. Plus, the scene was done in one take, so it was pretty authentic. Hank from Breaking Bad. What is the worst song to play at a funeral? Another One Bites the Dust by Queen. Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. Highway to Hell by Akadaka, as the Australians once said. My grandma wanted this played at her funeral. My mom refused. Your grandma was probably really cool. Happy by Pharrell Williams. Since You've Been Gone by Kelly Clarkson. I'm Still Standing by Elton John. WAP, 100%. Imagine they played at my funeral, I would come back to life. What's a funny memory you have that if you told someone, they'd think you're lying? I once checked in at a restaurant and gave the hostess my name to hold my slot. She then asked for my last name since the person below shared my first name. When I told her my last name, she looked at me like I was lying. The person below had my first and last name. She laughed and introduced us and we took a pic. I've never met someone with my same first and last name since. I was in elementary school during recess, just kind of daydreaming, looking at some ravens flying overhead, when one of them suddenly took a nosedive right into a trash can. So of course I rushed over there to check it out. The raven was just gone out of nowhere. I was not the only one who saw it. Another kid came rushing over as well. And that's how I met my best friend for the next 4 years. Come to find out your friend was the raven the entire time. An eagle came for my face as a child and I was about 8. I ducked and it ended up grabbing my hair and taking some with it. I ran inside crying and told my mom. She didn't believe me, so I never told anyone else. I'm 22. Got stuck in a bank for the night. When the bank is closed, you can still go to the ATM thanks to a security door. Once inside, the door decided to stop working. No phone, no emergency button, just waited for hours till someone in the street saw me through the glass and called somebody. I had a pet hummingbird as a kid. My mom found it injured on a sidewalk and nursed it back to health. It only had one eye and no depth perception, so we kept it inside. We let it buzz around the room, land on us and all that jazz. My brother told his teacher about it in 3rd grade and the teacher actually called my mom and was like, "Your son has made up a crazy story and insists it's real." Reality was we had a pet hummingbird and that seemed crazy enough for people that didn't believe it. My sister being bullied by a parrot calling her names. I can imagine a parrot doing that, being like, "Rot, dumb, rot, moron, rot." Me being black does not mean I'm good at basketball. I said before lazily throwing the ball backwards over my head for a 3-pointer. What is a wholesome animal fact that you know? When they hear running water, beavers will automatically start to build a dam. We know this because people put a speaker playing sounds of running water next to the beavers, and the first thing they did was start building a dam on the speaker. Vampire bats will share food with other vampire bats who haven't fed in the last day or two. Their metabolism means they die if they don't eat roughly every 3 days. This helps support member of the colony, even though it puts the sharer at risk. It is considered one of the few forms of altruism observed in non-human animals. Despite all the weirdness that is the platypus, they are still discovering weird things about it. Within the past 2 years, it was discovered that platypus fur glows bluish-green when exposed to ultraviolet light. I know a bluish-green platypus, but hey, where is he? Mama cats can sense when their kittens are having nightmares, so they tightly pull them into a hug and lick their faces to aid them. Dogs will sneeze to let you know that they are only playing playing and don't intend to hurt you while they are playing with them violently. My dog does this back, and I sometimes pretend to sneeze back, and she stands there looking at me like, what the f? Some bees take naps in flowers. Edit. Wholesome video of them. What is something we commonly accept as true in movies but does not reflect reality? Having full-on 1 minute long eye-to-eye conversations while driving. People don't talk over one another in movies as much as they do in real life. People always speak in whole sentences without ever saying, or making a repetition. That the guy can creep around and stalk the girl after she rejects him until she falls madly in love with him. If that happens in real life, you can bet your ass there's gonna be a restraining order eventually. Brushing teeth while having a conversation, not rinsing and continuing the conversation. Also, no foam? Where's the foam? What are you brushing with? Water, probably. People hang up the phone without saying goodbye, and then the other person understands that the conversation is over and they didn't accidentally get cut off. Characters not having a problem finding parking. Pulling out a bullet. All better now. What's something that people turn into their entire identity? Disney. Grew up watching a movie here and there. Nice kids movies. Don't get why so many adults apparently lost their minds over it. I did the Disney college program. I thought I had met Disney adults before, but once I got there, I could not believe the level of Disney adulthood that truly exists in the world. Conspiracy theories. Personalities aren't even real. It's just a mask of your childhood upbringing painted with the multi-faced pop culture and advertising local to your hometown. If you think it's natural to have a persona, you're dead wrong. We've been struggling to survive for hundreds of thousands of years, and if you think we're more than just surviving now, you've got another thing coming to ya. I bet you're a real treat at parties. Color purple. I don't mean the film. The actual color is their whole personality. If you know a purple lady, you know what I mean. What the f***, man? Purple's my favorite color. I know a purple lady. I know a pink lady too. It's the wildest thing to witness. CrossFit. Their identity. Star signs. If you met a vegan into CrossFit who also ran marathons, which of those would they tell you about first? Apple users. Hide Steve Jobs' shrine? Yeah, who would ever do that? Actually, I have an iPhone. I have an iPhone. I love iPhones. I think they're the best phones out there. What is that weird category of internet video you can't get enough of? Several hour-long analysis about decade-old shows made for a preteen audience. ASMR, especially the unintentional type. I watch them to relax and slow my brain down before bed. And the tingles. Oh, the tingles. I love ASMR. It's great. Goats yelling like humans. I think this is my spirit animal. Talking dogs, the ones with button boards. Those ones freak me out. I like dogs, but not those. For a while, it was Russian dashcam videos. Simpson Wave. It's music videos comprised of clips from The Simpsons, set to vaporwave songs. I know it sounds ridiculous, but something about it is weirdly moving for me. It brings a lot of feelings of nostalgia, sadness, and relaxation. Video essays on unhinged women in film. How would you describe your personality? Jovial, but also very sad. I get knocked down, but I get up again. Cynical and sarcastic. Full of love and compassion, but aggressively insular. I love humanity, but it's people I can't stand. That must be complicated. It is a bit, but I've come to terms with the paradox by simply ignoring it. Hot dad. Probably not how anyone else would describe it, but f*** 'em. Cold until one gets to know me. Shy puppy. Reluctant to have anything to do with you, but once you show me attention, you can't be rid of me and my questions. Anesthesiologists of Reddit. What was something you won't forget hearing from someone that was under? One of my patients coming out of sedation embarrassed her husband who was in the room by saying that during their sex, he likes to have Vicks rubbed on his backside. My dad asked my mom to pick up his butt cheek so he could fart and it was too heavy. I woke up singing the Magic School Bus theme song while someone 3 beds away was screaming in agony. Oh, but it's such a bop. Cruising up down Main Street, we're relaxed and feeling good. It's so good, man. Come on. Apparently when I was going under, I told the anesthesiologist, don't mess this up. I know where you work. My husband had his ACL and meniscus repaired. They brought him back into the room. He stared at me through half-closed eyes until the nurses left and then said, I love you. I'm glad you're here. I melted. Then he conked back out for about half an hour and woke up with a big gasp. I thought he was in pain. That's how loud it was. And he went, Burger King burger. I said, you want a Burger King burger? He said, I do. So I had to get him Burger King burger for dinner. He doesn't remember anything until he was back home several hours later with Burger King sitting in front of him. Husband was put under to get his wisdom teeth out. He was a little anxious and just kind of, he's an engineer. Thanks for telling us. I don't care. So he read his pre-op instructions front to back like a dozen times. One of the things it said was, you may experience profound disorientation upon awakening. As he woke up, he opened one eye and looked around the room, then said extremely huffily, I wouldn't call this profound. Then he started crying. I was told after surgery, I said I love dogs and I want to eat the Taliban. What would be the most terrifying message we can get from space? Just a countdown timer with no other context. A mirror of Earth radio signal. The source is 1 million light years away. We're back to pick up the dodo birds you were supposed to look after. Thank you for participating. The simulation is now ending. We have been communicating with dolphins for several hundred years and have agreed to their request to destroy you. We hope this reaches you before they do. You up? What you doing? ASL? What's your the world is ending and we're all going to die song? Mad World. Okay. The Wii Sports theme. Let's go. That's so good. When the sun eventually explodes, you hear the sound from pressing A and B at the same time. Where is My Mind by the Pixies? It's the end of the world as we know it. That was from Chicken Little. Simon and Garfunkel, The Sound of Silence. I need that first lyric playing just as everything is imploding, or else it's ruined and we'll have to have a redo. Sorry guys, started the music early, my bad. Can we take this from the top? We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel. What a Wonderful World. What's a song that sounds fun, but the lyrics are dark? La Macarena is about a woman who is sad and lonely while her husband is out fighting in war, so she cheats on him with two friends, at least the Spanish version. Hey Macarena. Born in the USA. Pumped Up Kicks. All the Older Kids. All the older kids with her pump-up kicks. A better run, outrun my gun. Hey ya. If what they say is nothing is forever, then what makes love the exception? So why are we so in denial when we know we're not happy here? Oh, that's the lyrics. Stupid. Copacabana. I hold it dear because I was named after a character in it, but it's basically about a bar fight and the resulting trauma. Hey Lola. She lost her youth, she lost her Tony, now she's lost her mind. Semi-Charmed Life by Third Eye Blind. It's about drug addiction and traversing the city to find more drugs. What do you wish you were really good at? Being a content creator. Because boy oh boy, am I not funny. Singing. Same. When I was a kid, my uncle asked if I knew what a tune was. Never been the same since. I wish I could play an instrument really good, like the violin or saxophone. A little obscure, but calligraphy. Being funny. Hey, me too, buddy. Parallel parking. Like, I'm fine with it, but as soon as I pull up to a spot, anxiety starts to kick in, and I just want to have the confidence to be like, alrighty, here we go, and done. Talking to girls and flirting. I'm pretty good at that. I just wish I knew how to tell when a girl liked me. Making money. We all wish. What is the scariest nightmare that you've ever had? I was wandering through a creepy, empty Victorian house trying to find a baby that was crying. The baby was screaming and I couldn't find it. Finally, I got to the bottom of a staircase and in the living room, a doctor had the screaming baby in a blanket. He put it onto the ground, reaches into his bag and pulled out a scalpel. He cut the baby down the middle and unfolded it like it was the blanket. There was a tape recorder inside playing the crying noise and the doctor just hit stop on the recorder. I was like 8 or 9 when I had that dream. It still freaks me out to think of it. I'm a child being forced to drive a car, but I can't control my legs to hit the brakes. I look down at my legs and they're Big Bird's legs. I've had this recurring nightmare for as long as I can remember, and it's always exactly the same. Same street, same maroon Chevy Celebrity my mom had when I was 3. The same clothes, the same radio station playing in the car, and it's so absurd, but I'm always terrified in the dream. Last night, I could see my work Outlook screen in my dreams. When I was like 8, I was terrified of the creature from the cover of One Missed Call. I remember having this nightmare when I was on a very small island in the middle of the ocean. So small, probably the size of a house, with one big rock in the middle. It was the middle of the night, completely pitch black. There was a small stream of light from the moon on the ocean. In it, there was the creature, slowly rowing towards me in a small boat, smiling at me. Oh, it was so scary, I'll never forget it. I'm back in college. This is my last class to graduate. I need to pass. I haven't done the work. I haven't gone to class at all. I don't know where to go to take the final. Then I wake up and realize I graduated 6 years ago. I was walking in a mall with my parents and we decided to go into a fancy clothing store. I was mesmerized by how fancy the place was and that I didn't realize my parents left. When I realized that they left, I tried to exit the store, but the door wouldn't open. I then looked behind me and the store turned into a supermarket with all the lights off. There were multiple creatures that looked like the alternates from the Mandela catalog. Their eyes were white and they were shining brightly. I kept repeating the phrase, "This isn't real," over and over again until I woke up. I wasn't evil enough to go to hell with my friends, so I got sent to heaven. I tried to escape and got chased by biblically accurate angels. What is the best pickup line you've ever heard? Not best as in work, the best as in most memorable. Hey, are you married? Yes, I am. Is it serious? You and I remind me of nachos with jalapenos. You're hot, I'm cheesy, and we belong together. I'll buy the drinks if you don't hog all the covers. Hi, I'm Date Mike. Nice to meet you. How do you like your eggs in the morning? Fertilized? Bro, what the f***? That escalated very quickly. Hi, as delivered by a female making the first move. Works every time. Pick that up. My mom telling me to clean my room. Doesn't get much more direct than that. Pleased to meet you with Meat to Please You. If you could remake any movie, but the main character has to be played by Danny DeVito, what movie would you choose? The Lightning Thief, Percy Jackson. I've never seen Percy Jackson, never read it, never watched it, but I feel like that'd be funny. Lord of the Rings, or as I like to call it, The Gang Finds a Ring. I'm still Team DeVito as Pikachu in Detective Pikachu. Home Alone. Titanic as Rose. Mean Girls. Magic Mike. 50 Shades of Grey. 50 Shades of Grey. What is something most people see as normal, but you think is weird? Having a personal Instagram page for your baby, then uploading pictures with captions that it's like the baby doing the uploading. My mom is the best mom in the world. I find it so weird. I did this with my dog when I first got him, but I deleted it because it's embarrassing. Embalming, preserving the deceased. No thank you. That body is not me once I passed. And the idea of people viewing my preserved body seems so incredibly bizarre. I avoid viewing the body if possible when attending a funeral. The embalming process is super gross too. Just why? Drinking until you pass out. Live, laugh, love signs or pictures as house decor. How in movies and TV shows, people can get shot, stabbed, and dissolved in vats of acid and no one bats an eye. But when it comes to a boob, everyone loses their their minds. Snapchat filters. Gender reveal parties. What is a movie that is 100% perfect? Spaceballs. I will say it once and I'll say it again. Spaceballs, best comedy movie of all time. Hot Fuzz. It's all about the greater good. Princess Bride. Goodfellas. Yes, this is the correct answer. Lego Batman movie. I still haven't seen it. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Still haven't seen it. Shrek 2. The Shrek movies are overrated. Shrek. My point stands. What's a useless fact that you know? In 2008, a Brazilian priest, as part of a fundraiser, strapped 1,000 balloons to a lawn chair and set himself flying up. Weeks later, he was found dead at sea, earning him a Darwin Award. If you water water, it grows. Sometimes sloths mistake their own arms for tree branches and fall. Male giraffes test whether a female is ready for pregnancy by drinking their pee and using the taste as an indicator of fertility. Kinky. Ear wiggling is inherited through your dad. Checks out. Kangaroos can't hop backwards. Babies don't have kneecaps. What is an oddly specific detail you want in a partner? When I was in high school, I wrote 10 random names from topics that I like random names from movies, video games, and stories. And my rule was, if I ever found a girl that knew at least half of those names, she will be the best for me. Jumped to today, and my partner does not know a single name on the list, but still, I love her so much. Pulse. But I can make do without it. That's disgusting. I want them to randomly feel the need to dance with me in a dark night so we can play at the fact that there was no music playing on the first place. Trim their pubes into a lightning bolt and dye it fire engine red. Cute shoulders. The ability to find humor in life's absurdities. Stalker, obsessed with me. Only then can I really trust that she loves me. I can be her. What old person things do you do? I eat a lot of soup. That's what I do. Soup. Tomato soup. Make old man noises whenever I stand up. Crossword puzzles, read the obituaries, and talk about things in distant past as if they just happened. Teenage male. I absolutely love looking at antiques. Complain about the newer generation. Scroll Reddit on a laptop. Knitting and crocheting while watching soap operas. What is something only women can do? Bleed outrageously and not die. Apparently see more colors. Complimenting underage girls. Men can sure do it, but it won't end well. You still have time to delete this. Yeah, weirdo. Make a bunch of money on OnlyFans by selling their farts. Well, you don't know if you don't try. Never take multitask. Queef. What's a way to call someone stupid without actually saying they're stupid? In a meeting, my dad once told his coworker, "I'm sure you have some valid points. I just can't find them. How should I say this so you can understand? I'd agree with you, but then we'd both be wrong. I don't have enough crayons or construction paper to explain this to you. You're pretty. It's a good thing you're pretty. I love saying it to men. I like being called pretty. Being called pretty is fun. Are you on TikTok? Ask EmKay is. Follow Ask EmKay on TikTok. We're close to 100K. You guys should follow right now. I'm on there. Brandon's on there. We're both on there. I saw a comment on r/rare insults once. He's as sharp as a marble. What is the best Disney song? How Far I'll Go from Moana is the best Disney song. I Will Die on the Hill. Make a Man Out of You from Mulan. We're going with a goofy movie on this one. Eye to Eye. People sleep on this movie. So underrated. Colors of the Wind from Pocahontas. Circle of Life. Part of Your World. It's beautifully constructed musically, and the lyrics and performance really set a longing. Every so often on Reddit, a behind-the-scenes video of the musical director giving notes during the recording pops up, and I think it really highlights the strength of everyone involved in that song. Under the Sea is a straight bop. There are other great Disney songs, but that one's the best. I truly feel Zero to Hero is an underrated gem. The rest of the Hercules OST. What song would you want to be played at your funeral? Curb Your Enthusiasm would be funny, I think. I want to hire a lookalike of myself who will pop out of a coffin and perform the Thriller choreography. Can I please be your friend? Only if you look alike. Shine on, you crazy diamond. Close casket, pop goes the weasel. Just tie my body to a ceiling and play Freebird. As people start leaving, I'd like the Seinfeld theme to start playing. The Pain Away by Peaches. My family would be horrified, and I want the last laugh. Into the Mystic by Van Morrison. You Shook Me All Night Long by AC/DC. It would be so wildly inappropriate for the occasion. What do people defend so fervently that you can tell they know it actually sucks? Bad relationships. Trauma bonding is real and so sad. Working super long hours. Despite all your talks of grind set, I know you know it sucks. Putting ketchup on their fries instead of putting it at the side. No, this is wrong. I do this. It's so good. My mom does this. Good for her. I cannot call her a monster. She's my mom. Some lady tried to sell my wife and I the supplement or whatever called Thrive. It was just some dumb pyramid scheme. Those who buy into it really drive home how great it is. Way too extensively. CrossFit. Their kids. Parenthood. What are you grateful for in life? Tacos, mostly. Instant clean running water. That f***ing slaps and we take it for granted 100%. The caregiver who helps my mother during the day. That I can feel, smell, taste, have 2 legs, have 2 hands, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm grateful with my parents and all that, but they traumatized me so hard that I'm not really sure to tell them I'm grateful with them. Coffee. Insoles. Didn't know how much I'd appreciate them until I hit my 30s. Blind consumerism and consumption. Without you guys, I'd have nothing. What is something people need to stop being annoyed by? Blaming the poor waiter for messing up their order when it's not even their fault. Or cashiers for price changes. That means it's free, right? Other people's taste in music, movies, etc. Mind your own business. Shoppers during Christmas. Everyone is in a rush and not just you. Teen girls enjoying things. Being wrong in an argument, for sure. Passage of time. Yes, we're all getting older. Yes, that movie came out a long time ago. Yes, young people haven't heard of things that used to be popular. Get over it. People being happy and bubbly. Y'all need to let others be happy.